All right, so today we're talking about the new array.at method. Now, this method is now supported across all browsers. As of March 2022, Safari finally added this into the browser, so we now have support for everything. Now, this method works very similarly to just the plain square bracket indexing of items inside of an array. So let's take this array as an example. So I've got a series of items. As all arrays, they start numbering at 0. The index number is the length minus 1. So I've got 7 things here. The last one is 6. So if I was to write this out, let's console log this. And I wanted to, in my names array, get something at index number 3. So I've created a variable for that. Number 3 should give me Guilfoyle. So I'll save that and we'll run it. So use node and run main.js. There we go. That's the name. And this is the plain syntax with square brackets to access anything in an array. Now, the at method does the same thing as this at first. So it doesn't seem like it's going to do a lot. Autocorrect to flat. And there we go. So save that, run it again, and we get the exact same thing. So it's doing the same thing as the square brackets. So what's the point of having this method? The real benefit is when you want to target things that are towards the end of the array. Now, if I wanted the last item in an array, I could do this in any array. So the variable for your array, and then inside the square brackets, I'm going to have to say names.length minus 1. Like we were saying, the length is 7, so 7 minus 1 is 6. This will get me the last item in any array. Not very useful. Or, I mean, it's useful. It gives us the value, but it's kind of verbose. It's a lot of writing to just say, hey, I want the last thing in the array. With the add method, we can use negative numbers. So if I say -1, and we run this, it gives me the last item. So this is the length minus 1. If I want the second last one in the array, so this will give me Monica. There we go. So the real power is when you want to work not just at the beginning of the array, but at the end of the array. If you want to count backwards through the array, if you want to be able to grab the third last item, the second last item, that's where the at method really shines and saves you some typing. It's really, really useful to use. So this was one alternative to targeting the last item. The other way that we could do this, if you wanted to get selected items from the array, let's say I didn't want just the last, but I wanted the last one and the second last, well, you are going to have to call the method twice, just like you would with the square bracket syntax. So we would have to say names at -1, that gives me the last one, or here's the second last, and then I also have to do names at -1. So if you want multiple things, you're still having to call the command multiple times. That's where destructuring would be beneficial. We could say, hey, you know what? I want to get the first item, the second item in my array, and I want the last 2 as well. So we use the spread operator to say others, and then the last 2 items, second last and last, like this, equals names. So if you want to get multiple values, you're still going to want to use destructuring, something like this, to extract. I want this one and this one and this one and this one all to be in their own variables. If I'm using at, I'm going to have to do second last equals names.at and last equals this. Do this on separate lines. Like that. But if you just want to get one, or if you're inside of a loop, or you're recursively calling a function and you're getting one item at a time that way, the at method really is a nice, elegant solution to doing this. All right, so I hope that helps you out. If you want a copy of this code, there's a link to a code just down in the description. And as always, thanks for watching.